How do you like your breakfast?
Not poisoned?
Fair, I guess. I don't think she poisons his breakfast.
Yeah, I think it's dinner, but it's an omelette.
I think she will eventually poison it as the point. I think she sort of starts at dinner and is working her way backwards, and she'll increasingly poison him.
As a woman, can confirm that's how we work.
Yeah. Poisoning Cheerios. That's like the end of a relationship. Or the start for these two lovebirds.
I guess midnight snack, depending on which way you look at it, is the earliest one to poison.
True.
Oh.
Well, we're getting into Gremlins rules.
Which came first, the snack or the breakfast? This is When Rom Met Com, the podcast where we break down what makes a date movie a great movie. We are currently working our way through Vanity Fair's list of the 42 best romantic comedies of all time to see if they had us at hello or were a big mistake huge.
I'm Jack.
Okay.
And with me is my old so-and-so, Nora.
Brilliant. And we have a guest today who I am very, very excited to talk to about this movie specifically, but also in general. Jack Taylor Murray. I'm reading the way you asked to be introduced because I think it's funny, so I'm going to read it exactly. You can say television producer because that's the truth, and writer of short stories because that's also the truth.
I'm always prepared for legal proceedings, basically, so I don't want anything to get, like, murky. That is the truth, and that's who I am.
I like the truth.
It's important, yeah.
Yeah, it's better than a lie.
And it's increasingly not.
Actually, is that true?
That's not true at all.
Yeah, a lie is often better than the truth.
The truth is rarely better than a lie.
But I guess it's more honest.
By definition.
We're learning a lot.
I'm glad you like the way it was written anyway, thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well,
I enjoyed it being read aloud.
I'm afraid to say this in case it's not the truth, but you are also a writer.
Correct. That's also true.
Well,
Yes.
he's a writer of short stories, which has been confirmed.
Right, that's true, but a writer...
That is true.
More broadly.
But beyond that, yes. But I write plays and short films and short stories and professionally for television.
Yeah, this guy.
Okay, so we've got the truth out the way.
Let's get to the false.
Well, we need to address the elephant in the room, which is how am I going to refer to you to so that our listeners know who I'm talking to?
I was thinking about this on the way, and I'm happy to be led by you on this, other Jack.
Well, me and Nora used to work at a club where I was referred to as straight Jack, but I feel that might apply to you.
Should I be straight or Jack?
Well, you are married to a woman.
I am to a woman, yes.
Which I think makes you straighter, probably.
Well, not always.
I'm open to suggestions.
I suggested last names, but Jack was like, that would make me feel like I'm in school.
open to suggestions in my sexuality. The last names thing I find so strange because it's just very school.
Really school. I'll feel like a teacher's telling me off the whole time, I think.
Why don't we just wing it?
What about my childhood nickname? Muzzer. M-U-Z-Z-E-R.
Muzzer.
All right. I like
Or Muzz.
Muzz. That
That's a bit
eliminates
quicker.
the problem.
Better for the edit. Better for the edit.
Great. We've solved it.
Did you ever have a nickname, Nora?
No, people refuse to give me nicknames, and all I want...
Not true. I've given you a nickname.
That's true. He calls me Red because my hair was like slightly redder than this for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Did you sort of try and force a nickname upon people?
No, never. Because I want it to be organic.
Yeah.
I tried to force one, but it was terrible because it would take longer to say than my name.
What was it?
I wanted people just to call me by my initials, JFG, because I liked it because it sounded like JFK.
Yeah.
And as a young man, I was like, JFK is the coolest man who ever lived.
By the way, I still believe that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got Muzz, we got JFG.
No, only one guy called me JFG, and he had like a really sort of like throaty voice. He was like, "All right, JFG."
Feels like he's in the room with us.
Shout out to Jim if he's out there.
Great.
Yeah, that's nickname chat.
Well,
and of course, I've called you on this episode, my old so-and-so.
That's a lovely term of endearment, I think.
It is.
It's quite sweet.
It's really adorable in this movie.
Yeah.
Although I initially thought they were married, it took me a while to work out their relationship.
I think it still takes me time to figure out their relationship entirely because they're sort of brother and sister, but also best friends.
Business
and
partners.
Like she's sort of taken over the role of his mother, I think, as well at the same time.
It's a fascinating relationship. It's one of the many fascinating things about this movie.
Yeah.
What movie is it?
Oh.
Nice.
What movie is it?
Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
Yes.
The long-awaited sequel to Drop Dead Fred.
Tell me about rom-coms, your history with them, your relationship with them.
Well, as we've already sort of touched on, I'm straighter Jack. My house wasn't a Nancy Meyers house. And I mean that in both ways, like not architecturally, we didn't have a kitchen island, but also they weren't the films that were on in our house. I think I sort of came to them later in life when I was a slightly more discerning teenager. But the films that were on, which were principally designed for the enjoyment of me and my brothers, were cowboy hats and swords and horses and spaceships.
I love that movie. Cowboy Hats.
That's 5
Swords,
movies in a row.
spaceships.
It's a good series, but all of those movies are those sort of action adventure movies. I think what I've realised is that they smuggle romantic comedies in. Han Solo and Princess Leia, Indiana Jones and Marion. They're not all Harrison Ford, but it does seem like a lot of them are. But even like Clark Kent and Lois Lane, they are, will they, won't they, feisty female and man who can't admit that he's in love. And I think what I realised later is that I'd kind of been enjoying the genre without enjoying it wholly.
Just jumping in there, don't you miss that from movies now? From like big
Oh my God,
blockbuster movies
100%.
now? It was one of the joys of James Gunn's Superman in that.
Yes.
I described on this podcast a while back the Marvel movies just being the most asexual like blockbusters of all time. The most you're getting is like someone giving like a nice hug to a friend.
Yeah, there's an absolute like aversion to flirting in mainstream movies, which is, I think, is the thing. I think it was the thing when I look back that I was most excited about by those movies, even if I would say to my brother, yes, I enjoyed the explosion too.
Yeah.
The explosion I was referring to was the explosion of chemistry between the two leads. And I kept that to myself, but now I'm comfortable admitting it. And I think it is massively missing, particularly in mainstream blockbusters. And I think it's why when a film like this comes along that wears it so squarely and honestly that is almost the point of the film, it's a really seductive thing to get wrapped up in.
God, that's beautiful.
Thanks.
More flirting, please.
Yeah, it's strangely absent. Even like film franchises that started at a time where it was more appropriate to flirt have definitely moved away from it now. Like, there was flirting in the original Fast and Furious movies. now there's family.
Yeah. Now the relationships in that film are broadly car into skyscraper, and that's the will they, won't they? And they usually do.
They usually do.
They usually do. Did you see Twisters?
Yes.
The fact that they cut the kiss at the end makes me so mad.
It's really strange that. It's really strange in a film that
The
is
film
like...
builds to it so much.
It builds to it, and it makes sure that everybody has a wet t-shirt 45% of the time, but doesn't
Right.
let those two people in wet t-shirts kiss.
And apparently, I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Glenn Powell asked them to cut the kiss because he was like, I don't want the movie to be about the romance. I'm sorry.
I thought Spielberg asked for it.
I thought it was Spielberg, which is odd for him because I think he's a good example of, in his earlier movies, I think even like Close Encounters and Jaws have elements of rom-coms like secretly like funneled in. So it's odd that maybe he's became more frigid in his 80s.
What is that movie about if not the romance? It's not about fucking tornadoes.
No.
Like, I'm sorry.
I like fucking tornadoes. Tornadoes that fuck.
If there was a movie about tornadoes that fuck and they didn't flirt, that would be really annoying. You'd feel like you've been missold.
I like that they just fuck. They get down to business right away. No flirting, just like big winds blowing together. That's such a strange, and I like that movie quite a bit. It is just like the thing that hangs over it is you guys were supposed to kiss.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, the big question is tell us about your relationship with this movie, which I know is long and intense.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear
It's
about
only
it.
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Do you mean my relationship with the movie is long and intense or the movie? Because both are true.
Yeah, both.
The movie is slightly shorter than you'd expect it to be.
Yeah, it feels and like looks like a film that would be long and arch, but I think it's much lighter on its feet.
Yeah.
The more you watch it. I know this is an audio medium, but I'm wearing a Boogie Nights t-shirt, and Paul Thomas Anderson's a very important person in my life. The movies of Paul Thomas Anderson kind of became events for me. And Phantom Thread was no different. I saw it the month it came out at the South Bank with a live orchestra. So my first experience of this film was very overwhelming, I think, and quite like lush and felt a little bit arch and studied in a way. And so I went back to it quite quickly. But I vividly remember watching it, and about 3 minutes in, after Alma does her little monologue where she says that maybe Reynolds is the most demanding, I remember turning to my friend, and it was like the moment in Ghostbusters where Annie Potter's character says, "We got one." I just knew that this was, wherever this was going to go, I was going to go with it and going to go back to it many, many times. He's my favorite filmmaker, and this is my favorite film of his.
Yeah, when I sent you the list, I was like, I have 0 questions about which one you're going to pick.
Yes, it was nailed on. I was actually a little bit surprised it was on the list in a way.
It is a surprising choice for the list.
And I don't know, when was the list compiled?
Originally in 2018, and then it's been updated a couple of times since, most recently May 2025.
I presumed it might have been around 2018, and I wondered if there was an element of like, that's the most recent film that has felt like the thing this whole list is about and this whole genre is about, and that's why it was so high or on at all. But I was pleasantly surprised it was on the list, and I love it.
I got a message from an old flame of mine who's listening to the show, and she goes, "Can't wait till you talk about Phantom Thread, the most boring movie ever made." Which I will say, this is not my favorite rom-com in any way, shape, or form. It's not even my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson rom-com.
We talked about Nora recently.
Yes.
And I think I feel similarly about this one as I do in that, where I'm like, yes, I see it. I see all the pieces, but it doesn't give me the specific kind of warm and fuzzies I'm looking for from a rom-com.
I think that's fair. And I think, actually, interestingly, Sean Baker and Paul Thomas Anderson are probably they are in a very similar generation of filmmakers who I presume grew up a little bit like me, watching films where romances were smuggled into bigger storylines. And so it doesn't surprise me that they both sort of ended up making something that feels like a rom-com. But I think maybe to the two members of the rom-commentariat doesn't totally like sing as one, I suppose.
But you know what's interesting between those two movies is that Nora is about something else and there's romance in it, whereas this movie is a romance. I don't know what the plot is if it's not the relationship between the two of them. Like, the rest of it is set dressing. It's not about his goal to be a dressmaker. It's about...
No, that's he could be anything, I think, in the film. It really helps that he's tactile and there's a lot of women surrounding him. But I think you could make this storyline suit any genre of work, to be honest.
I think it's interesting that Wikipedia describes this as a psychological period drama.
That is not true. That's not what it is.
And we know how we like truth on this podcast.
It's our favorite thing.
Because I'm also a massive Paul Thomas Anderson fan. And it's fun to talk about this because Paul Thomas Anderson is in the zeitgeist a lot at the moment.
Yep.
One Battle After Another was my favorite film of last year. And Phantom Thread was my favorite film of this year. I love this movie. I agree, though. I don't entirely see this as a rom-com. I can see the argument if you had to make it. It's a romance for sure, and a great and interesting one at that, with so many themes. And I also just loved, like, this was, a big Oscar player in its year, and it was a year of movies that were up for Oscars that all felt a little unhinged. And I loved that because, like,
Get Out,
yeah, it was the Get Out year. It was the year that Shape of Water won. Shape of Water, a movie about a woman who fucks a fish. There was the movie about hypnotizing and racism and body swapping, and then this movie about, like, what if I fuck up your digestive system and then look after you and then we fuck. And then Lady Bird just added to the mix as well. It really, it was a year for the Oscars where I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. We've gone for, like, the really arch movies of the era, and then, like, the next year Green Book wins.
I think they're all a response to Trump.
Yeah, I
think they're all a paranoid, terrified, not sure what to do with all the stuff that's inside me now that this outside force is kind of dominating our cultural space. I remember Paul Thomas Anderson talking about it and saying that in a way he had to get away from America to tell his story, which I think speaks to something deeper in him. But they all kind of share that theme of being fucking weird in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. It felt like a real year of artistic expression. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this movie. But yes, it feels like an outlier on the list more than some others.
Do you want to know my relationship with this movie?
You watched it for this podcast?
I did. I looked at IMDb. I have never seen another Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I have also never seen another Daniel Day-Lewis movie.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
But
He's not been in a lot.
He
That's
does,
true.
and he doesn't do the movies that I think you would watch.
Well, Kieran's reaction was, "You haven't seen The Crucible?"
Well, John Proctor is the villain.
Yes, but it is my name. Yeah, no, have not.
I've not seen many Daniel Day-Lewis movies. I think it might be limited to the 2 Paul Thomas Anderson movies he did.
He's a very interesting actor who should have done more roles like this, where he's allowed to be handsome. Because he he started out as a kind of he was in a lot of period dramas and he's beautiful. And I think he's obviously handsome in different sort of more edgy, sharp, stony ways in a lot of his other work. But what I love about this is how beautiful he is. I think he's so fit.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I've seen his best movie. Guido. Guido.
Which he said that he doesn't normally rehearse for movies, but he had to rehearse for that one. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to musical theater, baby.
By the way, he's handsome in that as well.
He is handsome in that. It's just a lot of him thinking, yes, the Pope, I want to talk about my film.
Yeah.
This is wild because we don't know each other that well, but I really only know Paul Thomas Anderson because of you.
Oh, wow.
Very strange.
It's because every time I have even a fleeting conversation with somebody, I talk about him. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who have that relationship.
There's not a Paul Thomas Anderson movie I don't like.
No?
At all.
I'll report back when I see another one.
I don't know. I'd be really interested in your take on Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
That's the one I think you might connect with the most. Yeah, so let's get into the stats. Believe it or not, this is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Who?
It stars Daniel Day-Lewis in his penultimate role, Leslie Manville, Vicky Creeps, love getting the creeps, Brian Gleason, and Harriet Sansom Harris, who I just had to reference, A, because she's amazing in every episode of Frasier that she's in, and B, she's amazing in Licorice Pizza as well.
Yeah, she steals that movie.
Yeah. So, Paul Thomas Anderson regular at this point.
Would I like that one?
Maybe.
That's quite a fun, meandering... It's like a montage, that movie, in a lot of ways. It's a series of stories stitched together. I don't think it totally works, but it's very enjoyable.
It's an age gap romance.
I like romance. I mix it up with Mystic Pizza.
Different movie.
Different movie.
But have 2 different pizzas while watching them as a double bill. This was released on the 25th of December, 2017.
Merry
Insane
Christmas.
choice.
It's the Oscar Christmas player. Same thing happened with Wolf of Wall Street when it came out, released on Christmas Day.
So festive.
It was made for a budget of $35 million. And at the US box office, it made a whole $21.2 million for $52.2 million worldwide.
Huh.
And its Rotten Tomato score is 91%.
Okay. Strong showing. Not the highest on the list, but
Not
up
the
there.
highest on the list, but yeah, it's a well-regarded movie.
What does IMDb say?
IMDb describes it as set in 1950s London. Reynolds Woodcock is a renowned dressmaker whose fastidious life is disrupted by a young, strong-willed woman, Alma, who becomes his muse and lover.
That's good.
Not bad.
No, it is good.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult film to describe because the point of it is the end of it.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to get people invested in. Even that, I think probably on the page, I'd be not sure if I want to watch that.
I just want to say, I love the name Reynolds Woodcock.
Incredible.
It started out as a joke between them, apparently.
They would text each other names. And I think that was Daniel Day-Lewis's suggestion, wasn't it? And PTA was won over.
It's great. I used to go to school with a guy whose last name was Woodcock.
Tricky name in school.
I feel we went to primary school, so not as much then. I don't know what happened to him in secondary school.
I reckon he went straight to the deed poll office.
Nora, what does Vanity Fair say?
Let the record show that Daniel Day-Lewis's allegedly final film role was in his first romantic comedy. On the surface, Paul Thomas Anderson's meditation on marriage is too deranged and dark to be considered alongside the works of Nancy Meyers or Nora Ephron. But look more closely, and you'll see that the budding relationship between Reynolds Woodcock, a renowned dress designer in 1950s London, and Alma, an unassuming waitress decades his junior, fits the rom-com formula. Alma literally trips upon her awkwardly endearing meet-cute with Reynolds. They spar over their opposing lifestyles and backgrounds. There's even a When Harry Met Sally-esque New Year's Eve scene. Reimagined as an 80s romantic comedy, nothing about Phantom Thread's core DNA changes. As Vanity Fair's Richard Lawson, who deemed it the most surprising love story of 2017, concludes, there's a you and me babe against the world kind of vibe to Phantom Thread. It winks with conspiratorial coziness of a private joke. It's fiercely romantic in its improbable way. And that was Savannah Walsh.
That's very well written.
Very well written. Interesting that it does not touch upon the comedy of the movie, of the romantic comedy aspect.
Private joke?
Yeah.
That's the closest it gets.
Yeah. I would argue that the comedy is not heavily...
No, I'm just linking it back to being a romantic comedy.
Yes, exactly.
But
it's not a romantic drama. Like, that's a different thing. The fact that they end up together happy at the end pushes it into romantic comedy territory. The kind of structure.
I think there's something interesting in it that I think, and this is my theory on like actually what makes quite a good romantic comedy. If you want my overarching theory, which I'm sure you do.
I do.
But I think the romantic parts are funny, and I think the funny parts are romantic. And I think that's a really difficult thing to have. And I think a lot of romantic comedies have like sweeping, beautiful romantic scenes. And they have really funny scenes. But it's very difficult, I think, to have a romantic scene that makes you smile because it's also a little bit funny. And it's also very difficult to have a comedic scene that makes your heart swell because it's a bit romantic. Oh. And I think that happens quite a lot in this film, where something that is a set piece that is funny also reinforces the fact that they're in love, and vice versa. But I don't think that necessarily makes it like laugh out loud funny or like searingly romantic all the time. But it's something that when I rewatched it, I sort of picked up on when they, for example, a scene which I think does this very well, when they steal the dress back. That's a really funny scene, but it's also really romantic because she's choosing to fight for him and he wants her to fight with him.
The kiss after that scene is like
hot.
Yeah.
Really hot. Yeah. And they kind of like storm into the bedroom after it as well, don't they?
It's a moment and a half.
Oh yeah. Because it's not a super hot movie overall. Like not in the way that a lot of other rom-coms are, but that kiss.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. And I think the hot moments are kind of end and feel hotter for it. And I think it starts off sort of hot and you expect it to become really hot quite quickly.
Yeah.
He does the thing with the lipstick.
Yeah.
And he's very tactile and he's measuring her for the dress, and you sort of feel like this is going to become like a very psychosexual, sadomasochistic relationship. And then it becomes quite stale, and then there's ups and downs and ups and downs.
It's because his world is very intimate.
Yes.
You know, like his relationships with the people he is dressing is very intimate. It's very up close. It's very touchy-feely.
And they adore him.
Yeah. And as well, just like the care and precision that he puts into all his work, just phenomenal. I love all those scenes.
One of my would-dos is like, okay, so on a previous episode, I talked about how I always have a crush on my optometrist. Because there's something weirdly intimate about that process.
Monica and Richard.
She's never seen Friends.
But I'm nodding like I was pretending that I have.
Well, that's what he is.
So I would commission a dress from this man if I could afford it, because I would want to be adored in the way that he adores these women for that like small period of time where like the measurements, the fittings, I would just live for those moments.
It's great. He treats them like goddesses.
Yes.
The way he deals with the princess is, you know, like nothing else.
Oh.
I love that scene.
It's a really interesting world to be in. And like, shout out to Biddy and Nana.
God bless them.
God
Morning,
love 'em.
Biddy.
Morning, Nana.
Pippa. Yeah, he knows all their names. That was a good bit of exposition there of like how he exists in this world.
It's the House of Woodcock. You know?
It is, certainly is.
It's just, it's you know, everyone in that house is family. They're not family. They're not treated like family. Then again, look how he does treat his family.
Yeah,
true.
Do you like the house? because I think houses are important in this genre, right? And I'm sure you will have discussed or will be discussing certain houses like the When Harry Met Sally apartment or the houses in Nancy Meyers films. Do you like the house? Or do you feel like it has what he calls like the faint smell of death? Do you think it's a good place for a rom-com to take place in?
Bit cold.
Yeah, it's not somewhere I'd want to live.
Yeah.
I'd like to visit. It's like a stately home.
It's like these are rich people. And I kind of assumed it was their family home that they stayed in, but I might be wrong about that. So it feels a bit like someone older than them furnished it.
Well, it's odd, but that's what's strange about it, because he says to Leslie Manville's character, we built this house together. And I think he means the business, the House of Woodcock, but it also feels like we built these tall staircases and doors that shut.
But I also feel like it's the family house because it is haunted by the ghost of his mother.
Yeah.
I wouldn't live in that house. But I would visit it.
Oh, I mean, I am existing under the current state of real estate. I would live in that house. Are you kidding? I'd be his muse. I would take that for a few months until he got bored and annoyed with me. Sign me up.
It's nice to know where your standards lie. It's very picturesque.
The country house is a bit more fun.
Bit warmer.
Yeah.
Cozier.
Tell you where I would go. That New Year's Eve party.
That looks fun. There's loads of little locations in this that I think are really... The little restaurant that they go to, where he like sits in the little corner booth and has like martinis with the guy that's talking about the racing, and those two women come over and talk to him. That is my dream night.
Those two women
that is my dream
over
night.
And talking to him, and his reaction to it is amazing.
Incredible.
Just like, oh, very good.
I think it's quite dignified.
Yeah.
And kind.
Yeah.
And then Cyril has to be bad cop to be like, okay, ladies, fuck off now.
Yes.
Speaking of fuck off.
My favorite moment of the whole thing is when he meets the doctor again and goes, didn't I tell you to fuck off?
Which definitely is him saying for him to do it again.
Yes.
Yes.
And I love that. It's the best way of telling someone to fuck off.
My biggest laugh, actually, was when Alma says to the doctor, I think this is clear. He wants you to fuck off. Because it's implied with I think this is clear that he wants you to fuck off is totally unnecessary. And it just caught me so off guard. I just absolutely cackled.
That scene is fantastic with Cyril wanting the doctor and her not wanting the doctor.
And when she shuts the door on Cyril.
Got to talk about Cyril.
Yeah.
One of the best.
What a fucking icon.
Unbelievable character.
Ever
Incredible performance.
And you referenced in the Vanity Fair article Richard Lawson's review of this movie, which he very kindly sent to me before the recording. And he talks about how we never see a brother and sister relationship at this age in this style. And I think that's very true. And their relationship is fascinating.
Incredible.
They're both two people who are devoted to each other. Her more to him, perhaps.
I don't know.
He cares a lot about her, but she does things for him. I don't know how much he would do for her. I love her scene when she's like, if you pick a fight,
I'll go right through you.
I'll go right.
What a champ. She's like, stop fucking whining.
Yeah.
I love that. It's sort of like, I indulge you, but let's not forget who's in charge here.
Yeah. It's a brilliant performance from Leslie Manville. Nominated for an Oscar. Well deserved. Daniel Day-Lewis also nominated. Should have fucking won.
Easily.
I prefer this performance to Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln. Yeah. Which he did win the Oscar for. I think this is a more interesting, intimate performance that feels far more creative.
100%. It feels like an entirely original character that maybe only he could have delivered, I think. Whereas Lincoln, I mean, there's an animatronic robot that does quite a good Lincoln famously, so I don't think it's that hard to do.
I played
they should
Lincoln.
have hired that.
That would have been incredible.
They should have hired Nora.
Yeah, I played Lincoln in my 4th grade class play. I memorized the Gettysburg Address. So it's only 3 minutes
and
long.
yet you didn't watch Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis.
I did not, because I was like, well, I've already done it.
Yeah.
We talked about the comedy, so I want to talk about the romance.
Yeah.
The most romantic moment for me, the only moment I think where I kind of kicked my feet and giggled. Actually, no, there were two. So the first little like hee-hee moment was when he's watching her after she trips at the restaurant.
And she blushes.
Yes, that was my note.
Yeah, my first note is just like, oh, Vicky Krieps is instantly beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, and a movie star straight away.
So I read that trip was real, like she tripped over a lighting cable or something.
Wow.
And if that's true, that makes sense because it's really, really difficult to fake a blush.
Yeah.
Like you have to be so in it. Like, as we know from this podcast, Anya Taylor-Joy famously acted her way into a nosebleed. So, like, it can be done, but a blush is a real, like physiological response. Yeah. So I believe that moment was real. But
CGI blush.
Yeah. But then him reacting to that, I was like, smile. Right? I was like, oh, what a romantic hero. And then when he proposes and she proposes back and his response to her, like,
and there's like a horrific ellipsis between who's going to say yes or is it going to be a no.
Yeah.
And he has to lose face in that moment because he's sort of back to full health and trying to go full Reynolds, but he doesn't quite get the answer that he expects because he's still weakened. He's still like a video game character where it hasn't gone quite to green yet. So he's still got like a little bit of orange and he's waiting to get to that green. So he gives in once more.
Mario still breathing after coming out of the water.
Here we go.
Like just getting that like little breath level back.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful scene. And the way that's framed and they're both sort of sitting on that ottoman, it's lovely.
Daniel Day-Lewis would have been a good Mario.
He's a great moustache actor.
Yeah. I would have liked that. I think to talk about the romance, I do think we need to talk about the character of Reynolds a little bit because I think that's where a lot of this comes from because this film essentially just turns into just three very strong-willed people all trying to express themselves. I love Alma's character. I think it's such a fascinating response to the Reynolds Woodcock character.
Yeah, because I could not fucking put up with him. I couldn't. I wouldn't. I have so little interest in.
Are you a spy? You sent here to ruin my evening and possibly my life.
Do you have a gun? A gun?
That is my favorite line. That line does make me laugh a lot.
If they had written a scene specifically to rage bait me, it would have been that scene. I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah. And he's got a waistcoat on with his pajamas, which doesn't help.
What the fuck was that choice?
Such a good look. Yeah. But I love that Alma has essentially rage baited him into it as well because she knows how he likes his asparagus prepared.
Yeah, she does.
And she's like, but I'm not going to give that to you.
You're going to have it my way.
You're going to have it my way. And she's been warned against this plan.
Yeah.
But she is determined to make things work her way, which is great. We know very little about where Alma comes from, but where she's going is right to the fucking top.
Yeah.
I think it's like the movie almost exactly mirrors Alma's reaction to Reynolds. It drags you in and sucks you in by how like opulent and beautiful and rich and arch and stately the world is, and you sort of stay for that, and then it eventually becomes this very deranged and demented and quite beautiful love story. And I think that's the way that's what happens with her, and I think it's what happens with me over time with this film is that
what you meant in general.
Yeah, I'm really like well sort of but the trailer for the film I think presented it as a beautiful, it was like he was doing his Rebecca or he was doing his version of The Age of Innocence or whatever. But it is actually something a lot weirder. And these are ultimately two freaks who found each other. And I think that's a very important lesson that if you are a freak out there, you can find somebody.
As my favorite song from Spider-Man, Turn Off the Dark says, a freak like me needs company.
That's really nice. And I think actually what the sign of a good, maybe not necessarily a rom-com, but a good film or something that like enters the cultural zeitgeist is that when people start referring to it as like a type of love. So like a When Harry Met Sally type of love. And I think a Phantom Thread type of love has actually entered the cultural zeitgeist. Jack Antonoff's band Bleachers talk about, there's a lyric in one of their songs where he says how nice it would be to be all Phantom Thread with somebody. And I think once a type of love enters like the cultural space like that, you know you've created something entirely original that is weirdly desirable. I think there's something like honest and fucked up about it that is quite like a desirable way to live your life, actually.
And again, going back to Richard Lawson's review, he talks about how this movie may be Paul Thomas Anderson's love letter to Maya Rudolph.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, at that South Bank Centre where I first saw the film, Paul Thomas Anderson was there with Johnny Greenwood, and he said, all I want to tell you about this film is that I was lying in bed incredibly ill, and I looked up and my wife was looking down on me, and I hadn't seen love in her eyes like that for a long time. And I text Daniel, I've got an idea for a film.
It's I've
That's
heard
like
that
the
story as
kernel
well.
of it, and I think you are right. I think if you know anything about Paul Thomas Anderson, I don't think it's necessary to enjoy the film, but I think knowing more of it could help or hinder your interpretation of it. But he's a maniac, and particularly in his younger years, in his coke-addled years, his fastidiousness and his attention to detail and his mania when it came to his work was a real problem and meant that he was a nightmare to be around. Perhaps until he met somebody like Maya Rudolph, who was able to be the perfect balance to that story. So I think you're right that it's a very personal story for a story written by someone from the Valley that is set in the 50s and about a dressmaker.
They are possibly my favorite celebrity couple.
It's a great couple.
Yeah.
I thought yours would be JFK and Jackie.
Actually, it depends if Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are together or not.
They're always number one for me.
Yeah.
I have no idea if
Benefit.
they're still together, but Martin McDonagh and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a big one for me because I'm like, that makes no sense and so much sense.
You'd feel stupid at their dinner table, though, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want to hang out with them. I'd be so scared
Yeah, and
and so turned on.
I do think I'd fit in at Paul Thomas Anderson.
You'd have fun, they're goofs.
Because you know what we would do? We would talk about Adam Sandler.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing everyone's got in common. Yeah.
and it would be fine.
Yeah.
I also think he's very handsome.
PTA?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really, really good looking and cool.
The first time we've talked about the handsomeness of a director on the show.
And let it not be the last.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that more? Why don't we objectify the creatives in the films we cover more often?
Talking about his films, I think all his films, actually, and Nora, I think this is why you would like more of his films than you maybe realise, are very romantic. And they're actually all, would you agree?
I would say There Will Be Blood is that romantic.
Oh, I think that's so romantic. He fucking loves oil.
True.
Like, he's like...
And he
it
loves
just
his boy!
Yeah, like, but he like... That's a love story between like a man and the stuff in the ground. Obviously, it's not like a traditional love story, but he's very romantic and he's very, very, very horny. This guy is horny. Like he's maybe one of the most horniest directors there is.
You know, we've referenced to When Harry Met Sally a couple of times. And there's one big parallel that we haven't mentioned, which is his food order is so very Sally Albright.
I love the food order.
It's so good.
It's incredible because it's the most antiquated and conservative version of the belly buster that you would get at a Greasy Spoon cafe. Like, it's sort of an eating challenge what he orders. Like, he designs his own eating challenge. Like Big John from Social Media, you could sort of imagine making the exact same order.
I like when he just orders some stuff and then he's like, oh, and sausages.
And sausages.
But then, like, he takes her notepad, presumably to check that it's correct, asks her if she'll remember. She says she will, and he takes the sheet. And I'm like, of course she'll remember. She's a professional. I waited tables for a long time.
I think it's a test, and I think it's also like, I see it as like a declaration of like, I'm a restless, hungry person. Get on board or you're out. And that hungriness is kind of I think it might even be one of the last lines. I'm starting to feel hungry.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, and I think it's like sort of, can you keep up with a man of my appetite is the question.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that she replies and says to the hungry boy feels like quite quickly she's onto him in a way that a lot of other people aren't, I think.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, because I kind of missed that. And also when he sees her in the first dress for the first time they're out at dinner, he's like, you're making me so hungry.
It's great when she says you're acting thirsty. Just a brilliant bit of like 2020s language like slipped into the 1950s.
Yeah.
My favorite romantic moment from the film is the sort of denouement where we sort of get to realize like everybody's on the same page. Kiss me, my girl, before I'm sick.
Oof.
What a line.
It's a great line, but it's also like, I know what you're doing to me, and I fucking love it.
Well, yeah, it's like, this is how we play.
Yeah.
This is our kink.
And that is to me the like moment where I'm like, and the kiss then is really good as well.
It is very good. Yeah, I can't think of anything I'd be into less, but I am into them being into it.
Yeah, I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, thrilled for you.
Because like,
do you like mushrooms?
Yeah.
I love a mushroom.
That was my stomach. Did you hear that? Did that pick up the mic?
I mean, this film will make you do that to you. Because actually, just, despite the vomit-inducingness of it all. The food looks great.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
There's a bun at the start, I think at the first breakfast with the pre-Alma girl. And there's like a sort of sticky bun with a cherry in the middle that looks unbelievable.
To be honest, what doesn't look amazing in this film?
It's so beautiful.
The gowns, the setting.
The gowns.
The gowns.
I started writing down like, oh, my favorite one is this one. Oh, no, my favorite one is this one. And then I realized that everyone she was wearing was my favorite one.
Well, this is interesting because one of the things, and this is like sort of granular, like very inside baseball, but I read a review about it, and I don't know where it was, where somebody was saying that actually he's on his way out as a designer and the dresses aren't nice. Like they actually aren't as good as like he maybe used to be or whatever. So I'm intrigued if there are ones that you actually do like, because there's one where the collar's up like fucking
when he rolls it up in front of her.
That's insane.
The ones he makes for all the other women, I don't like. Like the cape one with the cape, but the ones he makes for Alma, I love. They're a bit more like, they're a bit sexier.
Yeah.
They're a bit more like revealing, like they're like sort of low necklines and off the shoulder, and they're like shorter. The black lace one that she wears to Barbara Rose's wedding.
That's great.
I was like, oh, I want it.
The red one she wears at dinner, the one that she prepares.
Literally just about to say that. The red one that she wears the night she's trying to surprise him with The Night Alone is beautiful. It's like if you took the dress she wears in their first date, which is also red and like high necked, if you took that one and made it nicer and sexier, it's the one she's wearing that night.
Which makes sense in like costume, like story wise.
Yeah.
I'm always surprised that he doesn't make her a wedding dress.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry. What the fuck was she wearing at their wedding? I was like, this is your muse? I mean, did they just
is it
run
because
to
he thinks it's cursed?
I think there's a little bit of that, and I think there's a little bit of he is very much an unshowy person. Like when he is invited to the wedding of Barbara Rose, he's like, no, it's not about me. My place is here. So like the wedding they have,
it's like in the town hall.
Yeah, it's
maybe it was the same day or something. Like he got up, he brushed his teeth after all that vomiting and was like, let's head to the chapel. I don't know, because what the fuck was she wearing?
I mean, it didn't look bad.
No, it was nice, but it wasn't.
It wasn't a wedding dress.
Considering he's a dressmaker, you would expect it to be the show-stopping moment.
Yeah. I feel cheated. I wanted like a Sex in the City level like dress,
I love what she wears at the New Year's party as well.
That's the first dress that he makes her.
Yeah.
She just puts it back on. I felt like that was quite symbolic because she's like, remember when you loved me?
Yeah. Can we talk about Julia Davis in this movie?
The vaguely racist backgammon player.
Yeah. Though I like on IMDb, one of the big goofs in the movie is like, the word racist didn't exist in England in the 1950s. She might have said racialist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that.
It's a bit of a jump. The first time I watched that was a bit of a jump scare for me, Julia Davis being in it, because it sort of feels like she shouldn't be in this world. Gina McKee as well, at the very start.
I mean, Harriet Sanson Harris, who I just knew from the Addams Family Values and Frasier at the time, and was like playing, who is like as Barbara Rose in this movie, is great. Like,
so good, so tragic,
very tragic.
Yeah,
the bit where they are asking for the dress back. And she's like, she's sleeping. That's got nothing to do with the dress.
She's sleeping in the dress.
That reaction is great. That is funny.
The backgammon player, her name's Lady Baltimore.
Yes.
She's the doctor's godmother.
Yeah.
And she is a first-class shit stirrer.
She is.
She is like fucking...
She hasn't looked at you all night, has she?
She's got a lot of time for my godson, though.
Which, like, she does. And surely that's her playing with Reynolds.
With the doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, she gives the doctor the idea that something could happen here, but I think it's only for Reynolds' eyes.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that the movie has those moments throughout the film where Alma is talking to the doctor and cuts back and forth. It's
a framing device, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, good point. Yeah, because after that little interview, you don't think you've got a chance with her. No. When you're seeing this like deeply obsessive psychological
where she
sex
also
game.
Tells you her future with him.
Yeah.
you're also like, I need to get out of here because this woman will poison everyone in the building.
Truly, I would be so scared of her. I am far more scared of her than I am of Reynolds.
Yeah.
He's just a lot of like blustering.
Yeah, he's a lot of huff and puff.
Yeah.
What he's not actually going to do anything to you. I'm more afraid of Cyril than I am of Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Okay, yeah. In order of scary to not, it goes Cyril, Alma, Reynolds, for sure.
He's a baby, Reynolds, really. On that, I think this is maybe one of the things that's tricky about the film is because it is so like aniseed, and that's not what rom-coms usually are. They're usually like very sweet, but this is like a little bit more like treacly and sticks in your teeth. And I think rom-coms, presumably, one of the reasons we like them is because the film ends and you go, they're going to be together forever. Do you think they will?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Do you
I
think they
really
will?
do.
Because I remember the first time I watched it, I remember thinking, and tomorrow is the start of the film, and he gets rid of her. That was my like bitter, like
Really?
cynical, in like read.
I can see why you'd think that, but I don't think anyone has treated him like Alma does.
Yes,
I don't
agreed.
Think, I
Yeah,
don't
she's
think
the
he's
exception to the rule.
found an equal.
Well, I think the fact that he proposes is huge because he gives that whole speech about like, I'm a confirmed bachelor, marriage is not for me,
'Cause
never,
I've become
never, never.
deceitful.
And like, ladies, you can change him.
He's the ultimate project, isn't he?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, she's shaping him like fucking pottery on a wheel, you know?
Speaking of pottery on a wheel, can we talk about the ghost?
Yeah.
What a segue.
That's incredible. Did you plan that?
No.
I feel suspicious. Like Cyril and Reynolds cooking up stuff when I'm out the room.
Amazing.
That scene actually does give me chills a little bit when he's talking to his dead mom.
Yeah.
Like the way she stood in the corner of that room, and when Alma comes in and she's still there, I don't know, it does something to me. I remember when this movie was announced, we knew very little about it. I don't think a trailer came out for ages until it was about to come out. And the title was there, and you're like, is this his ghost story?
Yeah.
The word Phantom in the title? Just like, what's going on here? And of course, it means something else and is a very interesting concept of the Phantom Thread within dressmaking in general.
Someone explain it to me because I do not know what the title means.
Oh, it's what he sews into the dresses, isn't it?
Is it?
That's what I thought he describes it as.
What you mean, the like secret you can put anything in a dress?
Yeah,
thing?
I thought he said that's the Phantom Thread.
I think it's like the secret within a garment in a way.
Oh, does he literally say the phrase Phantom Thread in the movie? Like you just said the title.
I don't think he does say the title.
I thought he did. I might be drunk.
I always just interpreted as that scene where he's saying you can sew anything into a dress. I've got my mother inside mine.
Right.
He's sort of saying, I think the film is sort of like they sew each other into each other's hearts secretly.
Yes, and his mother is the Phantom Thread, but then it becomes Alma in a way, like it sort of changes. That's interesting. Okay, cool.
That's clearly I've made a leap that I'm like, it's said in the movie.
I'd love it if he does say it. That is actually really funny.
There's no way. He would never be that on the nose.
Well, that's, of course, my Phantom Thread.
He describes it, in my memory, he describes it as like, that is what this is.
Every time someone says the title in a movie, I go, oh, you said the title. So I don't think that it happened. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't think it happened because I would have noticed.
Okay, well, I'm clearly like rewriting this movie on the fly.
That's my Phantom Thread.
I think it is that, but I think that scene is very, very beautiful. I think even the way the mother's ghost is rendered is quite interesting because there's no like edges or like sense that she's like floating. It just feels like she's in the room. And I think once you have that feeling that she is always in the room with him, it changes him a little bit as a character, actually.
I mean, cool thing to say is that PTA is the cinematographer on this as well.
Yes.
Which is very rare for a director to also be their own cinematographer. And film looks fucking amazing.
It looks unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah, good job.
There's a lot of work going in on this.
It said somewhere, maybe IMDb trivia, that he was using his music videos that he was directing prior to this to test out particular technology or particular shots,
That
which
sounds about right.
is interesting. My pet theory is that Reynolds is autistic or neurodivergent in some way because he's got the extreme like sensory sensitivity to the sounds, like that like misophonia. He's got the hyper focus, the special interest. He's got like the routines, like the extreme reliance on routines.
His morning routine is great. I really like the way he pulls his socks up. I've never. The only socks that I have long enough to do that are football socks, but I do find myself doing it before 5-a-side and hoping that I'm being shot through the door like Reynolds is by PTA.
I love that. The toast scraping and all of that was so funny.
Being that annoyed by noises, that does chime with your theory.
What is the line when she's taking the tea out and he's like, the tea is going out, but the interruption is in here with me.
And honestly, as a person who is also neurodivergent, I felt that so hard. He was a real dick about it, though.
He was a dick about it, but he's a dick about most things.
That's true, which is, again, why I simply would not.
But and that's where Alma comes in, though. By making him sick, she shows him that he's not immortal. She shows him that he needs to take a moment to be out, and he loves that. He loves being able to be looked after, and obviously he misses his mother in a way. And it's all these things combined. She probably does bring out the best in him. And that's what she's telling the doctor throughout the movie.
It's almost like a BDSM dynamic.
Yeah.
It's entirely one, I think.
I haven't seen Pillion yet, but I'd love to see Pillion.
It's a good double bill,
Yeah. But it's like, if you are a person who is a control freak in your life, there's a pretty good chance that you do not want to be that in the bedroom. Like, you want to be able to sort of release into someone.
I totally agree. And I think it's really interesting that you never see what happens in the bedroom.
So mad about it. I'm not going to lie.
No, but I think it's because it leaves the possibility that perhaps the dynamic that you see when Reynolds is healthy maintains, but maybe it's the other way around. Maybe actually what happens in that bedroom and the reason why she's so eager to get in all of the time is because that is another avenue where the dynamics flip and she gets to be in control and he is submissive, possibly.
Yeah.
But I think it's intriguing that you never see that. I know it's annoying and it leaves blank spaces, but I think I like when that door shuts because I think that's when the questions start.
Yeah, and I am the last person generally to advocate for more sex scenes because I like more of the slow burn of it all. But I was like, I'm nosy. I want to know what's going on in there.
Yeah. I like to see them together in some way.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want naked DDL?
Yeah, he looks in great nick.
Yeah, he's hot.
I want to quickly just shout out that I love Vicky Krieps in this movie. I think she's great. And then after this, she goes on to make a movie which is very debatable, but a movie that I love called Old, which is about a beach that makes you old.
Oh, I know about this.
Life's a beach and then you die.
Is that the actual tagline?
No, that's my tagline for it.
That's incredible.
That is a really good tagline.
They should have called you.
They should have. I love this movie. People hate this movie. I think it's phenomenal.
Is she good in it? I've never seen it.
Yeah. I mean, the wonderful thing about being...
Yeah.
We can pivot the podcast to Old if you want.
Trust me, we'd be here for so fucking long. We'd all be old. Shout out to Old. I couldn't talk about Vicky Krieps without getting on my old soapbox.
But I think it's good that you've mentioned it because obviously I think Daniel Day-Lewis and the aura and idea of him and the fact that this was was meant to be his final film hovers over the film and you end up talking a lot about him. But she is so good in it and finding her is a miracle because there is a version of the film that could feel more uncomfortable if she was even slightly more fragile or maybe slightly more famous actually that you wouldn't totally buy this mysterious thing that they have together. I think she's amazing. I think she should have been nominated for the Oscar.
And the fact that she goes toe to toe with Daniel Day-Lewis, legendary actor versus newbie is insanely well.
Also, she actively didn't want an Oscar nomination for this. She said she was scared of it.
I can see that.
Interesting. Yeah, it might actually help her in the long run that she didn't and become.
She should have got one for Old. Everyone should have. I also want to just talk about Leslie Manville's performance because you watch Leslie Manville in interviews and other movies. She's so warm.
Yeah.
And in this, you'd never imagine her to be any other way than what Cyril is.
We talk about who's this lovely creature making the house smell so nice. And then the
sandalwood and rosewater. It's a good detective job.
Right. I mean, honestly, incredible. Also some sensory sensitivity there, in the family.
But making her to be that kind of shark-like character who sniffs out the bait that has been thrown into Reynolds' world is a really beautiful decision.
But I also was if I was Alma, I would be so afraid they were measuring me to make a skin suit out of me after that interaction. Like, he's real creepy.
Yeah.
She was real
You have
creepy
no
with the
breasts.
sniffing. I will come back to that
I love her
when we get to
line.
Wooden Doos.
Yeah.
That role in a romantic comedy of like the third person, like either alongside or parallel to the couple, I think is really used. Will know this more than me, but like sometimes it's like a gay best friend, sometimes it's like an older figure, often it's an ex or like another love interest. But that third, I think, is the thing that often makes a romantic comedy work.
Agreed.
And she is such a key part of making this whole thing work. She's in all the important scenes at the dinner table.
We'll get to supporting characters in the rom-com breakdown.
We will.
But I'll tell you what, it's high.
Yeah.
I know I just shouted out Vicky Creeps going on to old. I also just want to shout out Leslie Manville in Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. What a fucking delightful movie with a wonderful performance from her. Go check out Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Nora, you'd love Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Sure
She
will.
goes to Paris.
I really like the title.
Yeah, we love an
sold.
internal rhyme.
She does to go to Paris, doesn't she? It's
She-
not like a clever title.
No, she goes to
Okay.
Paris. She saved up all her money to get a dress made, but when she gets to Paris, they're like, you.
It's another dressy film.
It's another dressy film.
Wow.
And she's like, I've been saving all my time to get this dress. She's like a little common lady from London who goes to Paris to get a fancy
Oh.
dress made. Just so she. Oh, I love it. Oh, Mrs. Harris. Mrs. H goes to pee. On my soapboxes for both old and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Yeah, I
If
never expected that today, actually.
if you love Phantom Fred, go check out more and then just skip an enemy.
Do we have any last notes that we're burning to say before we move in?
Oh, can I talk about his hands?
Please.
Yeah.
I wish you would.
The cracked hands.
The cracked hands and the
Yes.
calluses, and obviously it's a famous thing about Daniel Day-Lewis is that he always kind of becomes whatever the thing it is that he's going to be playing. So he like understood how oil rigs worked, and whatever film he's done, he's always like really like ingratiate himself into that world. His hands are unbelievable in this movie. They are so realistic. They are so worn. They're so delicate and tactile, and so much of the opening of the movie shows you his hands at work. And I just like his hands. I'm pro DDL hands. I wanted it on the record, actually.
I'm pro.
I heard on another podcast recently, I believe it was the Blank Check podcast, Jared Harris worked with Daniel Day-Lewis on Lincoln and was like quite worried about it because she's like, how do I interact with somebody who's a method actor who's always like, am I gonna have to talk to him as if I'm like from the past? And apparently they filmed the scene and were on like being whisked off set on like a cart, and Daniel Day-Lewis turns to him and just in the Lincoln voice just goes, so what's gonna happen on the next season of Mad Men?
That is
That's
delightful.
amazing.
Because I'm not going to lie, when I read the little bit of trivia that Vicky Creeps was told she had to refer to him as Reynolds on set, I was like, that poor girl. I would have hated that.
It's interesting that though, because when PTA talks about it, he says it's actually really helpful as a director because he says you have a living, breathing character that you can play with all day, like closer to like what Andy has in Toy Story than like an actor that you have to convert into the character that he like. And I think that is true, is that like as Reynolds Woodcock, he would be talking about watching the reality series Naked and Afraid. But as Reynolds Woodcock, but he just has to stay in it to stay in that world.
Which I like that. It's much better than like Jared Leto sending people like dead rats in the post.
Insane.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
This is more just like, oh, I'm just gonna carry the character with me, but I still have my likes and my wants. And I want to know what's gonna happen next season on Mad Men.
Yeah. And we all did want to know.
It's more akin to staying in an accent
Yes.
than what people think of as method acting.
Do you think Mad Men would have been You're the Lincoln expert. Do you think Mad Men would have been Lincoln's favourite prestige TV series?
I think he'd be up on that.
Or more of a Breaking Bad guy?
Oh.
I think he'd probably go more for Mad Men. Just it's a little more
Smart men in
yeah,
suits.
it's a little more polished.
Yeah, he was very slick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he'd fuck with The Wire a bit.
Corruption
Yeah.
and like trying to change things.
Yeah.
Let's play a game, kids. The MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss. We've
Was it
already
16?
done 2017,
Fine.
so we're doing 2016. So the goal is to guess the nominees and the winner for that year. It is all movies. There was no TV at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So any initial guesses before I start dropping hints?
So it's films from the end of 2015, early 2016.
A dark period in our history, that actually. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We needed a kiss.
Truly.
Don't we always?
It wasn't Trump kissing Melania on inauguration day, was it?
Wait till the Melania doc is nominated.
Oh,
Interestingly, that has a Phantom Thread connection.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. The Melania documentary, which has been released to great declaim, or whatever the opposite of acclaim is, uses a piece of the Phantom Thread soundtrack, Johnny Greenwood's score.
Which is an excellent score. We haven't mentioned
incredible,
yeah,
and it's
score.
so important to it and beautiful, and it's moving.
And obviously you saw it live.
And I saw it live, and it's a great put it on whilst you're writing or working album. But yeah, so it was used in that documentary, and Johnny Greenwood and Paul Thomas Anderson have asked for it to be removed. I don't know if there has been. But bizarrely, this film is tied up in a geopolitical shitstorm.
Yeah, crazy.
Very odd.
Mm.
Do you think Melania's seen Phantom Thread?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm just trying to get my head into where I was at this time. Is there a kiss in Deadpool?
Yeah.
Is
Deadpool
Wow.
is one of the nominees.
Yeah.
That's incredible work.
He's so good at this.
So it was like Ryan Reynolds and Marina Baccarin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cinderella?
No.
No. I think that was a little too early.
We've got a rom-com, which we have mentioned repeatedly as one that could have been on this list from that sort of like silent
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
It's something like 2007 to 2017.
There's none
It's
on
like-
it.
Yeah. So it's one of those that we keep mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
There's I guess I would call it a dark romance, which is
50 Shades of Grey.
Sure is.
Really good. Jamie Dornan kissing Dakota.
Dakota
Yeah.
Johnson.
I love both of those actors so much. I have never seen anything less sexy than the 50 Shades of Grey films.
I've only seen the
never seen them.
first two movies. And I thought the first one was like, I wouldn't say good, but it was like interesting. Like it had the second one had no plot whatsoever, and anytime it tried to introduce a plot, it got wrapped up in like 20 seconds later. In the second one, where like he goes missing, he's found in like a minute. his helicopter goes down,
Yes.
and then they find him.
Right.
And I was like, "You just introduced the plot," and then you were like, "No, don't get too invested. We have to carry on with nothing."
Was it the second or third one where the big plot is revealed to be that he enters these like violent relationships? Because I wouldn't call it BDSM because they don't have the like safety in there. It's just violent with these women who look like his mother.
I feel like that's the third one.
Major plot
I've not
point.
seen
Quite Reynolds, actually.
Truly. But like Dakota Johnson, I think is so funny, is so good. Jamie Dornan is so sexy in fucking Once Upon a Time, our favorite show.
Nora, have you ever seen Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar?
No.
You really like it.
You gotta watch it.
Okay.
And Jamie Dornan's performance in it is, he has a whole song and dance number that honestly, you talk about how much you like men who yearn.
Mm.
That's a whole song. That's a whole song of yearning.
Oh my God.
It's not a musical.
Sign
it
me
just
up.
suddenly has a musical number in the movie.
That's my favorite. All of those things. Jamie Dornan, yearning, spontaneous musical number. Where the fuck do I sign?
Yearning to be in love with the villain of the movie, who is bizarrely also played by the hero of the movie in like a sort of Austin Powers-esque fashion.
Hot.
It's also just one of the funniest things out there.
You just describing that to me has turned me on 10 times more than 50 Shades of Grey did.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's really a compliment.
Yeah, 50 times 0 is still 0, to be fair. Okay, what other movies? We've got I would call it a musical as one of these.
And I would call it a musical. Is it La La Land?
It is not.
Well,
La La
'cause-
Land was the next year.
Mhm.
La La Land I would call a musical.
It's a movie that heavily uses music, but the music's all diegetic.
Okay.
Nice
Is it
one.
like one of those musician biopics?
No, it is a sequel.
Mm.
This is the winner.
So Pitch Perfect 2?
Sure as hell is.
Wow. That's worrying, actually.
Who? Like what? Anna Kendrick and Skylar Austin?
Rebel Wilson and Adam Devine.
Oh, okay.
So a nice comedy kiss.
A comedy kiss.
Funny kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these two crazy characters kissing.
We've got a comedy road movie. I assume they mean like road trip.
Yes.
And we've got a crime comedy drama
Crime comedy
drama.
with two big names.
And the rom-com I haven't mentioned.
Oh, right. Yes. The rom-com.
Is rom-com 2015 or 2016?
2015. Romantic sex comedy film.
Nice. Nice.
That sounds like a ChatGPT version of what it is.
It's of the boy rom-com genre that we have discussed.
Nice.
What's boy rom-com?
Is it Trainwreck?
Yes, it is
Yeah.
Trainwreck. It's like rom-coms that are a bit raunchier, a bit more like gross out humor.
The
a bit,
Judd Apatow.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It is Trainwreck.
Trainwreck's quite good.
Yeah, I love
I
Trainwreck.
like Trainwreck a lot.
Genuinely excellent rom-com.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to covering it.
All right, two left.
Two left. Dark crime comedy.
Just a crime comedy.
Crime
comedy drama
Crime comedy drama.
with two big A-list stars.
Two big A-lists.
One of whom is in a movie that's getting a lot of controversy right
Wolf
now.
of Wall Street.
No,
Oh,
but that's the right star.
Focus.
Yes, it's Focus.
Okay.
Margot Robbie,
the
Will
other,
Smith.
the other star of that has controversy
Yeah, he's on.
abound. Will Smith is just
That's true.
controversial now.
Yeah.
That's true. But I was thinking of Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, last one. Comedy road movie. It features a cast member from The Office, but he is not involved in the kiss. The American Office,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. It's not like The Hangover Part 3.
No, it is not a sequel.
Is it like the actor from The Office is like one of the leads?
Yes. And I believe that the kiss is supporting characters. One of them is an action star, sort of Marvel guy.
Mm.
And the other one is has been in a lot of comedies, is married to someone we have discussed on this
Is it
show.
Tag? No, it's
No.
not Tag. Is it Ed Helms? Is Ed Helms the Office star?
Yes.
That's pretty good reads. It could have been anybody.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Ed Helms.
Ed Helms. Is it Vacation?
It is Vacation.
Wow.
It's Leslie Mann and Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, there
good
we go.
knowledge. though.
It is a sequel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is it
doesn't
is
have
like
a-
Lampoon?
Yeah, it's a sequel to the National Lampoon's Vacation, Christmas Vacation, all that kind
Oh,
of stuff.
If I had read the whole opening paragraph on Wikipedia, I would have known that. It just doesn't have any numbers in the title, so I just
So you're like,
assumed it
well, I
wasn't.
guess it's a reboot call.
A reboot cool.
So Pitch Perfect 2-1.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the most thrilling lineup of movies.
Yeah. It's not as good as the list you read out earlier of this Oscar year. But,
Yeah, like it's Trainwreck is probably the best option in there.
Yeah.
Well done, game.
Yeah. Go team. Best song?
Well, it's got to be one from the soundtrack, right? I guess.
Yeah, I mean-
the score. I don't know if I
Yeah.
can.
I
House of
kind of-
Woodcock is the one that I listen to most.
Oh.
Mm.
So my question is, do we feel like any of these songs belong on the rom-com playlist, or should we just sort of feel like this is a great score and call it a day?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I know we put like some of the more classical numbers from Emma on the playlist, but I'm not.
Yeah,
there's
we
not-
put the theme from The Apartment as well, which is, I think, the only instrumental piece of music that we have. Even the Emma songs have
Yeah.
vocals.
Are there any numbers in the score that make you think like, oh, I want to fuck?
I plead the fifth. My favourite is House of Woodcock, and
Okay.
that reminds me of that house and sort of where they fell in love, and that means a lot to me.
That's good enough for me.
But it's sort of hard to devote, like the score works as one movement, doesn't it?
I'd say
Mm.
pop House of Woodcock on.
Yeah,
Got the word cock in it.
Yeah,
It does.
There we
Come
go.
on.
there's one called For the Hungry Boy.
Mm. Would do, wouldn't do, have done.
JFG, you want to kick us off? What would you do?
What would I do? I would be persnickety about my breakfast order.
Mm.
Great.
I started ordering Lapsang tea after this.
Love that.
Yeah, and it's only because of this. But if like we ever went to afternoon tea or whatever, I would always say, just for my own personal satisfaction, do you have lapsang? It's a really nice question to get an answer to, and I urge everybody to try it.
We should also point out, like Jack has mentioned, he's wearing a Boogie Nights shirt. You're also wearing a suit.
I'm wearing a suit, yeah.
Which is, like...
It's fitting, yeah.
You are perhaps the most overly dressed for our podcast that anyone has been.
And I'll tell you another thing that is even more exposing about the extent of my mania. The suit is olive green, which is the colour that Paul Thomas Anderson predominantly wore during the press run for this film. So I'm basically Reynolds Woodcock, but Scout.
Yeah, I see it. That's what I've always thought about you.
We've needed it.
What would you do?
I would like to have my own booth in a restaurant like he has with Cyril and Alma that you go to at the end of the day and unwind with martinis. I think that's and I actually think it's quite achievable. So I don't really know why. I mean, listen, I'm already having lapsang, so I'm halfway there. But there's something about that sort of like the way they enter the restaurant, and I really like the idea of somebody saying, Mr. Taylor Murray, on the way in and being taken to a table that's always mine. So that's something I'd do.
Yeah. I've said my would do's, which is I would wear
the dress,
the hell out of those dresses. Yeah. Jack, what wouldn't you do?
I wouldn't be a dressmaker. It's too much work. It's so, like, I respect the hell out of it, and like I respect the institution, which is too much pageantry and respect going on. I'm too slovenly to be a dressmaker.
Fair enough.
There is no House of Gregson.
Not yet.
Not yet.
There won't be.
Muzz, what wouldn't you do?
I wouldn't play backgammon ever. I don't like it I don't respect it as a game. And I think it's antithetical to my upbringing. And so you will never see me playing backgammon. And if you do, I've been compromised by probably Russian agents, I would suggest.
God, wait till we get to my have done.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't put up with those people negging me, like him wiping the lipstick off. You have no breasts. Oh, he likes a little belly. Historically, negging does not and has not worked on me, because the second I get a whiff of it, I am pissed off and I am out of there. Like, people have tried.
I want someone to be nice to me.
Right.
I want someone to look after me when I'm sick.
Like, British men love to neg.
Yes.
Y'all love it.
Yeah.
I cannot abide
it's
by
negging, football and pints, I think, are the three things that were sort of brought up.
All my favourite things.
Yeah.
All my favourite things.
But
I love negging a football pint.
Also, I wouldn't eat cereal by biting the spoon. Who does that? That's crazy. I was like, why are you doing that? He's so right for that.
He is right.
He was wrong about the toast. He is right about this. Yeah. Anyway, JFG, what have you done?
So my dad loves backgammon.
Oh, God.
And like growing up,
oh, God.
I played many a game of backgammon against my dad. I've not played it in years, but he still meets up with his friend Ben and they play backgammon on the reg.
On the reg?
On the reg. But yes, I have played backgammon.
Muzz, what have you done?
Well, I have ordered lapsang post this film. One of the other have-dones, and this is quite, I don't know, it's not dark, but it's maybe maudlin. But the bit, my dad died a couple of years ago, or like he died in the summer of 2024. And the film actually takes on a bit of a new meaning, I think, when you're grieving specifically a parent. And the thing where he asked for the picture, I immediately read as a major red flag. But I now carry a picture of my dad with me. And I have found it to be like a source of comfort, and there's something about that I immediately read as, what a dangerous individual, that I now read as, I get that impulse. So that is something that I have done that was kind of inspired by Reynolds Woodcock. And this was a film that I watched with my dad together multiple times. So yes, I've done that.
Wow. I think that's really beautiful.
But mainly
actually.
the lapsang thing.
Yeah, mainly that. Mainly like sounding cool, ordering tea.
Yeah.
It gives the same energy as my mom drinks Earl Grey now because of Star Trek.
Yeah, nice.
You know?
Yeah.
But if you want to do it because of Star Trek, you got to get it wrong. The Earl Grey hot is never quite right. Nuz. What have you done?
I have had an unsettled feeling based on nothing I can put my finger on.
Ooh.
And that his clinical anxiety. I've also modeled wedding dresses very briefly for a boutique back in my hometown in West Virginia. And the way they recruited me for the modeling is they were like, you are very tall and normal sized.
Wow. It's not poetry, is it? It doesn't sound like a sonnet.
Because like,
An ode to the tall, normal-sized girl.
Can I compare you to a tall, normal-sized wedding dress model?
yeah.
Let me count the ways. But famously, you cannot be described as having no breasts.
No, famously, once had a doctor diagnose a shoulder problem as, well, your boobs are just really big.
Wow.
Which is
What,
not
a doctor?
even that true. He was
I
like,
don't think that's the medical terminology.
but you better bet I like strutted all the way to the pharmacy to pick up those painkillers.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
My medical response is, you got two big bazongas.
And I have carried that with me ever since. Tall and normal sized.
With
That's
two
me.
big bazongas. Bazongas is my new favorite word.
Really good. It's very like
Yeah.
Looney Tunes
Yeah,
word.
it's definitely
Top
not. It's
notch.
not one that Reynolds would use.
Yeah, there you go. Rom-com Braydow?
The romcom breakdown,
Mm.
a scientific method in which we break down a romantic comedy. This is a 4-part system. The first 3 parts are out of 5, and they are ratings of lead/chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
supporting characters, and plot. And then out of 100, it is the rom-com scale. 0 means it's more romantic, 100 means it's more comedic, 50 being the ultimate balance of rom and com.
Okay.
Let us start with lead/chemistry.
5.
It's 5 for me.
5.
3 5.
It's a 5-banger.
Because if they didn't have incredible chemistry, this movie would not be good.
This movie wouldn't
Yeah,
work.
and it's immediate chemistry as well. You
Mhm.
see a blush within 15 seconds. It's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't believe that she loved him, you'd be like, what the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing here, lady?
There's
Yeah.
a lot of really quiet moments where she just looks at him and you know that she is obsessed with him. I love when she calls him handsome early in the film by the fire. You can tell that she really does dig him. So it's a 5 for me.
Supporting characters.
I think we'll differ on this one.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, the plural is like unfortunate
Mm.
because it's supporting character for me. That's the sort of film is like, it feels like there's one principal supporting character and I can't fault Cyril, so I would have her as a 5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I go for 5, but it's not just for Cyril. I think Cyril's great and is a strong part of that 5. But I also think the Doctor is a good supporting character. As awful as she
Harriet.
is, Julia Davis is, interesting look into the world. That
There's some
Reynolds lives in.
incredible women in the film,
Yeah.
actually.
Mm.
And you got to give your love to Biddy and Nana.
Yeah.
They had to work all
Yes,
night.
they did.
Oh, the scene where Cyril is telling them
Make
that
a
they've
call
got,
home.
yeah, you can use the phone here, call home. I'm afraid you're going to have to stay quite late
Yeah.
tonight. Like I love that.
I'm much lower. I'm at a 2.5. Cyril gets a 5. I could have had some whimsy from the supporting characters that just didn't come into this. And again, this is specifically as a rom-com.
Yeah.
Like, it's not actually a criticism.
Yeah, because I don't think.
No, I do know what you mean.
I don't think whimsy exists in this one. You'd have liked it if there was, he had a camp assistant.
There's almost like you get the feeling that possibly he might have been left on the cutting room floor a bit, but when he's having martinis and the guy sitting next to him, where the women approach him about, I'd love to be buried in your dress one day, the guy sitting next to him, Reynolds says to him, you'd dig her up and sell the dress, wouldn't you? And you get the feeling that guy might have been that character, this sort of like mean, cynical, catty
I love
assistant.
that line.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
Such a great line. All right, well, 2.5 from you.
Mm-hmm.
Plot.
I obviously love this movie, so all my answers are going to be really high and skewed. But I admire the simplicity of the plot. I think it's very difficult to do something so serene and straightforward and still make it feel like it's topsy-turvy. And I actually think the plot itself of man meets girl, she poisons him to keep him strong, is pretty fucking like Greek. Like, it feels like quite mythic and like it's the sort of plot that should have been around forever. And this should be a retelling of an existing ancient story. And for that reason, I think I'd give it a 4.
A 4? I thought for sure you were going to say 5.
No, because I do think like it's almost so straightforward that you can't. Like, maybe one more twist in the tale might have pushed it to a 5.
I would go for a 4 as well.
Yeah, I said 4.
Yeah, I think it is a romantic plot for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we're looking at this as a rom-com, it is the type of plot you'd want. You have your meet cutes and your sort of highs and lows, and then you have the insanity that brings it, higher up. It is straightforward, and then it's not at the same time.
Yeah,
which I think is part of its charm.
My favorite part of this plot is that it is not afraid to just simply be a romance. And that's so brave.
Yeah.
Especially from a sort of like auteur, like a film bro-y kind of director.
Yeah, and his films are usually they're huge in scope. There's lots of characters. Films like Magnolia are interweaving stories that eventually come together at the end, and this is certainly the most restrained he's been.
He's moved a bit away from the ensemble.
Yes, yeah.
He like
One Battle for Another's kind of returned to it.
Kind of. But like if you like with like I guess The Master's kind of an ensemble, but it's very focused.
It's about two. That's a love story.
But restrained is a good word.
Yeah.
And deliberately and like tightened, like the dresses that he makes, like there's nothing left to chance.
Yeah, like there's a lot of discourse at the moment around romance, particularly around things like heated rivalry, where people are like, there's not enough hockey in it. And it's like, the plot is the relationship.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like in the opposite way, you could argue there's a lot of dresses in this movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a lot of dresses.
There's not enough hockey in Heated Rivalry. There's plenty of dresses in this movie. There's plenty of scenes of them making dresses. If you are looking for a film in which people make dresses, this is a good movie where people make dresses.
And I am always looking for that.
You should watch The Dressmaker, starring Kate Winslet.
Watch Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Oh my God, you should watch Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. And then watch Old. Nobody makes a dress, but people get old. But
the restraint, I think, is notable in the plot as well, because I think there's a version of this, and it wouldn't surprise me if a version was written where they go to Paris, for example, like Mrs. Harris, for Fashion Week, and run into a French aristocrat who wants to take Alma under his arm, but instead it keeps it in that little chamber, which I think is important.
Okay, now I'm going to pitch a movie.
Okay, I can commission it.
Okay, it's a sequel spin-off to both Phantom Thread and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, in which they do go to Paris, Reynolds and Alma, and they run into Mrs. Harris, but they think it's Cyril because it's the same actress. And it's sort of like a Parent Trappy sort of like two identical people switch places by accident, and Cyril has to cope with being a sort of lower class sort of war widow, and
Mrs. Harris who's jolly and nice, has to become an arch co-owner of a fashion house.
I don't know what the point of it would be, but I'd watch it.
Well, where I'm from is called the Wirral.
Yes,
and so I feel like Cyril Goes to the Wirral is on the cards.
Oh. We have to cut this because someone's going to steal it.
Shall we do the rom-com scale?
Oh, yeah.
Because I am sitting at a very calm 32.
I went 20.
I went 40. Obviously, it was always going to be quite high for me. But I think it's slightly more romantic than it is funny. So that's why I put it there. But I think it's very, very romantic and often quite funny. So
I think it can be funny. I think there are definitely times throughout this movie I laugh. And I think the more I sit with it, the funnier I find it.
I agree.
It gets funnier every rewatch.
Yeah, I think again, once you know where it's going, it's funnier.
Yeah, that's true.
What becomes funny is knowing these characters and knowing their mannerisms. And knowing that like nothing bad happens, Yes.
Yeah, that's so real from my experience is that like I cannot relax into a movie if I don't know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
I watch things twice so often and then I get like the full experience the second time.
there's no way to predict at the beginning of this that it's going to be about like making your husband fucking sick.
She seems like a victim on the first watch.
Yeah.
And she has so much more power on a second watch, which makes it more fun.
Like the traditional version of this movie would be her like learning to escape from Reynolds.
Yes. Or finally killing him, but having like had the deeds of the house sent over to her.
Yeah.
And the film ends with her opening the door and she's suddenly in charge and Reynolds is long gone.
It's the House of Alma.
Yeah.
But instead, what's nice about this is actually everyone's kind of on equal footing.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Reynolds entirely sees Alma as being on equal footing. But she is. She's very clever and very, strategic in a way that he is about his dressmaking. And you don't entirely understand that on a first-time watch. That's it. That's your rom-com braid out.
Woo! We did it.
We did.
Well done, everybody.
We phantom threaded.
And that is the phantom thread.
It's stitched into the seams of this podcast. But Jack, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it. Long-time listener. An avid listener, so thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Is there anything you'd like to plug with your time here?
Sure. I write stories about pubs on an Instagram page called Bitter Pubs. They're sort of short, little, bleak, sometimes romantic and often funny stories about pub and pub life and people in it. So that would be nice if people want to read that. That's kind of it. I make a lot of television shows, but I feel like it'd be gauche.
It's not gauche.
I make a television show called Rob and Romesh Versus, which is on Sky.
Nice.
With comedians. That's very funny. And if you want escape, that's a good show to watch.
I didn't know you worked on that.
Yeah.
I've been seeing the ads for it because obviously I've been watching Heated Rivalry.
Yes, it's often on the same homepage. And because the Heated Rivalry is presented and it's like the two people facing each other in sporting clothes, that's also what the Rob and Romesh poster often is. And I feel like we might be getting more viewers based on the fact that people think, they're doing that but about curling. But it's not necessarily the case. They do like each other, but just not in that way.
This has been When Rom Met Com. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Threads! Phantom Threads!
Please follow us on Threads. It's me running it. I'm unhinged. I'm having a great time.
And she's always sewing in little extra bits in the Phantom.
My Phantom thread.
Yes, you can follow us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at When Rom Met Com. There are links there to the Vanity Fair article, to our letterboxd, and any other fun things we found and want to share. You can DM us or send us an email at mail@whenrommet.com.
Get it?
We'd love to hear your thoughts on the films, what rom-coms you think should have made the list, your best would-dos, wouldn't-dos, have-dones, or anything else you'd like to hear about. If you've had a nice time today, please consider leaving a review or following us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you'd like to support the future of the show so that one day we can do an episode on old,
on Punch Drunk Love,
on old, on Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, you can leave us a tip on our Ko-Fi. Next time we'll be discussing number 10, What's Up, Doc? Thanks for listening, and remember, we don't hate you, not even a little bit, not even at all. See you next time. Bye!
Bye!